something over here, so that's why my computer closed on me. Normally, I'll have everything flowing because we would have the video package
Right.
together.
I'm understanding that this is the first. Yep, we on the same page. You good?
No, it's I just like I'm talking my way through stuff.
Gotcha.
Created by
Put that in the memory bank.
the one that change. Change is created by the one that doesn't fear. That doesn't fear to respectfully disrespect.
War is necessary. We vote every month, not just February. They want us in jail in them cemeteries. Wake up, you a king, you not secondary. Know sometimes it's scary. Keep your head up, king, you legendary. Arthur, your blood is hereditary. Hereditary. Arthur, your blood is hereditary.
To make nature understand, to make nature a content, to create future courses, to create new life, a new
Facts. We got melanin. Fallen names just want us for medicine. You the goat, you the king, you the veteran. Reach for the skies. Your actions are heaven sent. Ha!
This is a fact. A God's logic. I am a king, and I am a king who will not run.
Cause kings don't run. Cause kings don't run. Cause kings don't run. Cause kings don't run. The kings don't run. The kings don't run.
Change.
We live. Yo, we live.
You live now.
Yo, the lyrics to that intro, outro, and John be singing. I know you heard him. You heard him. Did you hear him? He be singing. Well, anyway, hello all. My name is David E. Jones Jr., but on the podcast of I Love You, Black Man from a Black Man, I will be referred to as Demi Deity, as I will refer to all black men as deities instead of nigga, bro, boy, and any other colloquialism that you can think of that we refer to each other that can be deemed demeaning. So I'm gonna call us brothers, deities, things that are like. But I'm gonna just introduce myself a little because it's nice to get to know who you're listening to. I'm a little nervous because I don't like the spotlight. I've literally never been the center of attention of anything in my life. Literally never. I don't like it. I don't like no type of attention. But shaking the jitters. So I'm married. Been married for close to 2 years now. Been dating my lovely wife for
10 years.
It's about to be 12. Yeah, it's been a minute. I was one of them people you call what they call them fuck boys, right? I was one of them for like 10 years, 10 good years, And then, she set me down. I love that woman to death. But the reason I bring her up first is because I know I'm not a very private person. I don't believe in secrets. So, and my past should be a fucking TV show. I swear to God, it'll make money. I'm writing a book too, so stay tuned for that. But that's gonna explain my life. But I'm sure I'm gonna receive a lot of backlash for a lot of topics that I talk about. And when I speak of those topics, I'm cool with everybody directing their energy to me, but my wife is like, that's like that's the end all be all. I will have no chill about that. I will always respond to that because she is my life and my world. I just want to make that abundantly clear. So call me fag, nigger, all, whatever you want to call me. I respect it because to you, that is who I am. But just call me it. Leave my wife out of it. Love that woman too much. But anyway, yeah, I'm married. Clearly, I love her. What else? I love sports a lot. A fucking lot. Basketball, Lakers, RIP Kobe, favorite player, best player in the world. My GOAT, no argument, hands down. Everybody in the room agrees. No argument. Yeah. Who you got? Who you say? You don't got nobody. Who you got, Tom? I respect that.
Okay.
That's your generation. I can roll with it. I got all respect for that. But I watch hockey a lot, tennis, volleyball. I know them all too. The most football I watch a lot too. I'm really, really educated on basketball. Like my IQ is like crazy. Just have a conversation. But yeah, that's about it. I'm boring. I love God. that is most important. And you know what? And I want to thank him and Tone for giving me the opportunity to have a platform to, just speak my mind. But I'm getting boring now. I hate talking about myself. There's not much to know about me. Anywho, here with me today, I got my best friend, the BFF. She's just here for moral support. She ain't nobody though. She's supposed to be talking, but she's not. She didn't feel the need to chime in. This been my homie forever. RUHS, Riverside in the house, class of 07.
Yeah.
That's all you got for me?
Yeah.
You're not.
I mean, I was proud of my high school. I still am.
Okay, cool. We proud.
RUHS.
RUHS to the fullest.
To the day I die.
All right. So to the point of the podcast, it is called I Love You, Black Man from a Black Man. And the reason it's called that is because black men, we don't love each other, y'all. We not loving each other appropriately. Like we just out here killing each other and not supporting each other. And these black women got stuff figured out. Like they got stuff figured out for real.
Indeed.
Figured out. And this podcast, I'm sure, is going to turn into a lot of arguments about, male and female, things like that. But I do have a black woman. She just couldn't make it today. So my friend's filling in. But my sister, P. Jones, she out. She's a realtor, so she had a few showings to go to. If y'all looking to buy a house, hit me up. I can get you in touch with her. But yeah. So I'm going to read off something that's kind of like I don't know what to call it. I was sitting in the car on the way to work and I was just writing what I thought, what I was praying and trying to figure out how to explain to everybody what the podcast is really about. So I just wrote it out. And as I was writing it out, I was playing this song in the background and everything just, was clear to me. So I'm gonna read this every morning. I mean, every morning, before every show, and I'm gonna play this song in the background as well. And the reason I'm doing that is because what the song is explaining is also what the podcast is about, and it's also what I'm talking about. And it's something that I want us men to remember daily as we interact with other men and as we just interact with people, period, because I kind of noticed that our biggest problem is our attitudes because of how we are just products of our environments, but we'll get to that later. But I'm about to play it. The song is called Shundeo. It's about this dope dude, Samo, Samoht. It's spelled different. It's not spelled like it sounds, but that's how you spell when you go looking for the song. And it's called Shundao. Shundao is spelled Shundao. But here we go. Oh, and I am dyslexic, y'all. I hate reading. I'm good at writing, but I can't read for nothing, y'all. I can't spell either.
Nope.
You ain't supposed to agree. All right, here we go. We literally feel the need to be lied to by not wanting to hear of darkness, by not wanting to speak about dark truths. So we cover them with the illusions of joy, which manifests itself as sin. We like the drama. If we don't create it in our own lives, we like to watch it. Or there are others of us that stir it up with other people by allowing our own preconceived notions of what joy is to clash with others' understanding of joy. I say this to say, the clashing of misfortunes or sins are also known as struggles or traumas. However you want to call it, it is the joy of us black men. We subconsciously hate other black men because we don't understand how to be comfortable around other black men. In every clash of men, I can prove that true. The realization of this is every interaction between black men, well, honestly, between everyone, will yield to you an understanding, and respect will remain easy to you and them. This is the point of I love you, black man, from a black man, to bond us as brothers, to build a community of wealth, financially, spiritually, mentally, and what we lack an understanding of the most, myself included, emotionally. Learning to be honest with self behind closed doors and in public. We will all ascend to becoming demi-deities, men beforehand, ahead of, behind of gods and of God. Let's take over the fucking world, black men. Let's buy cities. Let our identity of wealth mean community. A community that is never void of respect and understanding, which equals grace and mercy. And let no man, fallen angels alike, move our position. We will recreate Negas. That's the point of the podcast. That's a lot to take in, but the more you listen to the podcast, the more you hear that, the more it all will begin to make sense. Because I said a lot, and I probably even used a lot of words that some people didn't know, especially Negas. Y'all should look that up. But yeah, that's pretty much what the podcast is about. I am nervous as shit. I hate being the center of attention, y'all. People won't believe that though. But I just talk my way through it. That's why it's easy to do this. Even though I hate it. That's funny how we do stuff that we good at, but we don't really like doing it. Like public speaking, I fucking hate it. Fucking hate public speaking.
And you'll be fine.
You I told her when she got in here to act like we just sitting in the car smoking weed. You know, she has not said a word. I think she more nervous than me.
I'm over here chilling. It's all you, bro.
No, you're supposed to be dialoguing with me.
I am dialoguing.
You remember I told you to ignore all of this around you?
I am. I'm chilling.
Because you high?
I'm not high, but I just want you to get to the topic.
Oh, we about to get there.
So when we start
my
talking
bad,
about
my
the
bad.
topic, then you know I can.
You gonna
This
dive
is
in.
your time.
Okay, here we go. So the topic, today's topic, we gonna touch on all type of topics, but because this is the first episode, I'm gonna just keep it light. We're gonna talk about literally all type of things: gender identity, religion, whatever you think of, whatever you name, literally everything. But today we just gonna talk about something that I saw on Facebook. And I'm gonna just really have an open conversation to see if the consensus is universal. You know, the comments that I was reading under it. And I just want to see if the concept is still universal here in this room as it was on the post. And the post was posted by somebody that's really close to me. I love him dearly. That's like a big brother to me. But his perception was the same as everybody that commented. And I have the same perception, but I understand the other side of the coin too, I guess. But the post said, there's a very thin line between I really need to work on that versus I'm not for everybody. Y'all understand with that?
I understand completely.
What you think?
I feel as though there are some things I need to work on versus I'm not for everybody. Sometimes it comes off as there's no need for growth.
What do you mean there's no need for growth?
It depends on what it is. Like,
oh,
okay, so is this an attitude that's affecting everybody else? And if it's affecting everybody else, it has to be affecting you too in some way.
Okay, and so the conversation became who draws that line though?
It depends.
Because that's the question I asked.
Well, it can depend. All right, so I'm not for everybody versus what was it?
I think I'm growing. Hold on.
Because
I really need to work on that versus I'm not for everybody, which is growing. Yeah, it's about.
I can't believe that everybody isn't for. Some people really aren't for everybody.
Agreed.
That's a part of the reason why we have different groups of friends and etc.
And I agree with that, but I didn't get into the what you think, Tom? Okay, cool. I kind of think about it to myself, and I think about it like on the flip side of the coin.
Okay, so how deep you taking it?
Because if you drawing a line based on the fact everybody ain't for everybody,
okay,
then what does that look like?
We gonna deal with what we want to deal with.
Right. And what does that look like?
For me?
For people. Like if say me and you, say for instance, you and I lived in this village.
Okay.
And it was 50 people. And of these 50 people, 2 of them was witches. And they was like real powerful, like stupid powerful, but they knew they couldn't tell nobody, right? And so, but they knew they had the power to kill them all, right? But instead of killing them all, the community found out they was witches and they killed them. When in all actuality, they had the strength to kill the community, but they didn't. So those 2 witches are the unpopular versus a community who is the popular.
Okay.
So that witch come to one of the popular and say, I'm a witch. And right off top, the popular say, burn the witch at the stake.
So you basically feel like, who is this popular,
who are we to tell someone else that, yo, you ain't for me? But I get it. I get why we are that person. Because we want to avoid confrontation. But to me, when I interact with a person and I see a person as, that is not for me.
Okay.
When I recognize that I'm not particularly interested in dealing with that type of energy.
Okay.
for me, I take that personal and I view it as a challenge.
Why would
Because
you do that?
and the reason I do that is because just I'm not one of those people that believe what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if I can't get along with this person, there is a defect with me. And why must I put it on that person? Why can't I check myself first? And why can't I always check myself? Just because, like, say, it's like when we, for example, me and Sonia, we literally like different butter. Like, it's two different butters in the house, for real. So Jen, Sonia has, she like, I don't remember what the name of her butter. I can go get it though. It's green and got a farm on it.
Okay.
But
what butter do you like?
I
know you
like
know that.
margarine.
Oh, okay. But
Okay.
which brand of margarine?
Imperial.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So it's two different brands in the house.
Okay.
So when we're cooking dinner and I know that I'm cooking for both of us, I'll use her butter because is not that big of a deal to me. So the comparison is when I meet a person that I'm not that interested in, it's not that big of a deal.
Agree. So you can leave them alone.
But what if it's a case where you got to work with them, or
that's
you gotta,
different? You just deal with them in that circumstance, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's,
so you could deal with that person in that work.
So this is what I'm saying. So people walk around saying stuff like, I couldn't be friends with a hoe, or I couldn't date a gay man, or
that's, I mean, okay.
wait, I couldn't date a bi man. There we go. Let me get my pronouns
Okay.
right. I couldn't date a bi man.
Okay.
And so when people say things like that, that means that they have a strict position, right?
Okay.
And it must be respected because not even they will cross that line. So why the fuck would they let you cross the line, right?
Okay.
So when you meet that line, it's like when you stop and think, people don't take a look at why they don't like it. You understand what I mean? So when I meet somebody that I don't like, or that I because I don't really dislike people, but I just have a, I think we should stay apart type thing.
Okay.
But when you meet somebody you don't like, to me, I honestly feel like you have to look at yourself first all the time. So when
you basically saying so it could possibly be something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then maybe, okay, I understand that. But then I also understand that maybe that person also is okay with where they are. Maybe they've reached their growing point. They at the top or wherever
and you see now we've identified something that I crucify.
What and what
people that are unwilling to continue to grow. That is something that
is that it actually it, or is the other person?
I think my real problem with it is that people void respect when they find something that they don't like.
So you can basically respect something that you don't like
easily, effortlessly. But people meet.
But you do know what is for you and what's not.
Agreed.
So they could probably be like, oh yeah, that ain't really my cup of tea. So
yeah, but that don't mean you have to disrespect it in order for that to be positioned. That's rude as fuck. And that's what people do. People.
So that where is the thin? Is that the thin line?
Yes, the thin line that they're talking about is simply respect. That is how I see it. And the reason that I see it that way is because when they identify something that they do not like, they feel a need to justify why they don't like it. And it's not necessary to justify that. You said, people say things like, you just said it to me, you don't got to deal with them. And I said that I just choose not to deal with them.
Okay, yeah.
But when we choose just not to deal with people, that's the same as like, especially when we have to be in their space. It is, I think people void that line. I don't really know. It's just confusing to me.
It's different when you're in a work environment, and a lot of people,
And
when
it's
they,
not just a work environment though. It's just people you know, and as you grow and change, the people that you interact with on that you've grown up with.
yeah,
As you grow and change, the people that you interact with, you define those lines with them too.
yeah, and sometimes those relationships change too.
They do, but they
So
shouldn't change to the point of, especially like siblings, and I just don't understand the great disconnect. And I think that is why I asked the question under the status in the first place, because I don't think that I define that line.
who
I don't-
does then?
I think just an understanding of respect defines the line.
So you'll still be able to be in that person's presence?
Yeah, while avoiding respect. Like, for example, my manager, who was a cross-dressing homosexual, fired me because I didn't want to look at him cross-dressing. That's literally what happened. And so because that took place, I worked with him for about a year. I went to a gay bar, had drinks with him, like all that stuff. It was cool. It was because it was co-workers out. So I'm like, I can respect this. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with anything anybody wants to do as long as it's not hurting people.
Okay, so but then in return,
In return, what?
so what's the issue?
The issue was, the point was that I'm able to show respect regardless. And that is what defines that line for me. I understand the other person to a point of being able to respect them in a way that's comfortable for me. That's it. That's how I'm learning to deal with each individual as I get older, instead of punching when I don't like.
I get that too. So then that person is then you are the one who is determining that line. They're basically determining it for you too, though.
Right. That's the point. It's two sides of the same coin. That's how I see it. Is it we want to take that, and it brought me to the concept of Indians and chiefs. Everybody wants to be a chief. Nobody wants to be an Indian, and everybody wants final say. Everybody wants dictatorship, and nobody wants to understand. So whenever I have a quarrel with somebody, I feel bad. Even if I feel justified, I still feel bad.
That's a part of who you are.
I know that. I know that. But still, if people would take the time to understand, like when we get into it,
Okay.
and we argue, we get mad, we eventually calm down and we have a conversation. And then we come to an understanding.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
That can happen with any human. Any two humans. I just don't see why it can't.
I understand when it can't, though.
I do too. That's why I don't mind fighting. I'm just being honest.
You don't gotta fight.
I know that, but I don't mind any form of it is the point.
Okay.
So whether it's verbal, praying, physically, whatever type, I don't mind doing it. So I do understand drawing that line. But the point is, I want to get to a place, I'm trying to grow to a place where respect is always the determining factor in every decision I make when I'm interacting with another person.
I understand that too, but everybody ain't gonna give you that.
Right. But I want to give everybody else that.
Okay, so why can't you? So if that's where you want to grow to, I believe that can be done.
Right. But
then then it's gonna also grow into something else. You know why? Because what's going to make you upset is that people, they're not going to offer you that same respect.
And what I was gonna say to you is I'm already angry about that.
And so
So
then you got to grow into being okay with that, because then that's either you grow into being okay with that or you just don't have the people around you. Then that's when you choosing to make that line. That's the line for you. For some other people, it might be something else, and it might not even be as high as you're putting it. It could be something very low.
That's what I'm talking about.
And
But I don't think that it's not a line for me, because I will never. I've come to a place now where I can have an issue or a quarrel with a person, and once that issue is done, like if it doesn't come to a resolve,
you ain't in the mic either.
if it doesn't come to a resolve, I'm cool on that, and I can keep going without even having a conversation about it. We can continue to interact in the same space without ever talking about it. It'll be strictly business.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. But that's the point. Nobody wants to come to that understanding.
I think people do. Well, I'm not that person,
I know.
but everybody isn't capable of it. Some people are and some people aren't. So until they are, that's however long it'll take, and it
that's
might not take.
exactly why
There's a line.
this docile person in me is so aggressive. And that's why a lot of other people respond in aggression, because people void courtesy and respect all the time, when all you got to do is ask questions and listen. But people even get offended by questions. You can ask a question and the motherfucker want to fight you off that.
Don't nobody always want people to be asking them questions either.
But they want to be respected. How is a person supposed to know how to respect you if you unwilling to answer a question? Like, it don't make sense. That's why people. Okay. Anyway, I wrote a response to it. I'm gonna read that response and close this out, because I'm even ready for it to be over. I'm sick of the conversation.
Why are you sick of it?
Cause it's honestly confusing for me to think of self
So highly?
Yeah, and I didn't even want to say it like that.
No, I get it.
But I just don't believe that I am pristine enough to draw a line to tell someone. Now I can see if they sucking my energy or stealing from me, or something
of that sort.
Yeah, but if it's simply something about their character that people deem so egregious that they can't fuck with them, I just can't vibe with that. I just can't vibe with, I'm drawing a line because this person bi. I'm drawing a line because this person a Christian. I'm drawing a line because this person is white. I'm drawing a line because this person has a mean exterior. Like she look mean. Like, that's stupid to me. I don't understand it.
Something that simple. I think that's simple.
Most of the time it is simple.
That's simple.
All of it is simple because it's simply unconscious biases. That there's prejudice. People are prejudiced.
That's not what I was working off of.
That it is prejudice.
I'm talking about, I'm not coming up with no simple bias. Talking about, I don't want to be around this and that person if I don't know them. If I don't know them, and then if I don't know them, I can't place that on them.
Place what on them?
Anything. Right. Whatever that is, the reason that you don't want to be friends with somebody. But let's be real now, David.
You go ahead. Let's be real.
You said some of those things you see off top, right? Mm-hmm. You can see if somebody's skin color, etc.
Right.
So you ain't gonna be friends with nobody who dirty. If that person,
I don't even.
If that somebody dirty or if they stink, come on.
You should not have. Because I don't want to. I've had friends like that, and the reason why we are no longer friends is because I will tell them
that they stink.
Yes.
Or they dirty.
Yes.
And they not friends with you no more.
Most people don't like me.
So they not friends with you no more because you was honest with
Most
them
people
about
don't
something.
like me for that reason.
I get it. Because
And-
they get on my nerves too, and I'm your friend. But at the same time, that's a totally different topic.
Yeah, it is.
So, but I'm just saying, like off rip, sometimes ooh, they dirty. You no.
Jennifer, I am not saying I'm absolved from it. I completely took ownership of it.
Okay.
But
okay.
you cannot say that I don't see past that. I've always seen past that all my life when it came to anything and anybody. Let me talk to y'all nice. Let me talk to y'all nice. And I don't even mean to be OC like this. I was able to talk to a man that molested me and have a decent conversation with him. I was able to talk to a man who took my pictures at my wedding, and I paid him $500 and I didn't get not one. And I befriended him again. Like it's, I am a very forgiving person. So if I see someone and I'm like, you know what? I just did it today. And I preface that with saying, if it happens, it happens. If I have to interact with them, I will. But I'm not going to purposely create the environment where I have to interact with them. And I guess you can say that's my line. And again, I cannot say that I have not admitted to saying that
certain things of that sort,
right,
or doing things of the sort. I get it.
But I still understand the other side of the coin, which is why I always make room for the possibility of an interaction with someone that I'm not fond of or that I would rather not deal with.
Okay.
I make sure that I understand who they are so I can give them the utmost respect as quickly as possible so it can cease. And so that it can be peaceful. And if the interaction cultivates a friendship, so be it. Then I'll be comfortable enough to tell you stink. Or you dirty. And I think that's what friends supposed to do.
Okay.
I just think that makes sense.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll work on that versus what I'm not for everybody. That's, to me, in a sense, it still can be broad. Like,
I don't think it's the same thing. That's what I believe. It's the same thing. People define our lines for us. We don't know that we don't like something until we experience it. And we apply said experiences to every individual. And it is like, that's why people bitter. Like, it's the same concept. And I don't want to be like that.
So you gonna experience it with everybody then?
Everybody who comes into my space, who I am required to experience them, I will experience them. I will learn them enough to respect them to a point where I don't void not one courtesy. That's literally who I'm trying to become. To be open enough to understand everything. Like, I've read so much. The Holy Bible, the Quran. I always forget what they call the Buddha scrolls, but I'll be reading them too.
That's called either.
I done read the Satanic Bible. Frederick Nietzsche's a motherfucker. Like, you just keep Sigmund Freud is crazy as if I love his shit with the mouse and the cheese though. That's a perfect example of what we talking about now. Anyway, read that yourself. But anyway, I'm gonna read my response to what I thought about it. And I don't think I'm right. I don't want anybody to ever think that that's the goal. The goal is just to understand. And I wanted to understand how we arrive to the point of believing that we are the deities of nature, like what's naturally going to cultivate. Like, we can't help who we run into. That's why we call people strangers. So just as you see them, assess, process, and make sure you check yourself. That's just how I see it. Because and that's also how I deal with everything. Racist people, bigots, homophobes, whatever you fucking call them, you know.
Bigots.
I'm shit. I done been called a bigot.
Is why can't that respect be not dealing with them? What if ain't that's a courtesy too? It's a courtesy for yourself.
Well, let me read the response because I'm tired of the conversation.
Okay.
And you can respond to the conversation. I'll give you the last word if you want, but I'm over it. What I replied and saying was find the negative in your damn, I can't read. Find the negative in your every matter of fact. The only absolution is your choice, and everyone can be wrong and right at the same time. I genuinely only aim to understand through questions by trying to be my best idea of respectful until I identify that desire to understand is minimized by a person's desire to be right. The latter way of being is violent for me, and I have yet to learn to meet violence with multiple cheeks. Understand, just because personalities shifts your worlds, rules, and perspectives doesn't definitively mean you shouldn't inhabit the same space with said individual. To me, that just means we all need to learn a greater level of respect and patience. When I am not able to connect with the person, whether I want to or not, I take a great offense to that, because that is me identifying and understanding I can't come to, or there lies a hatred I don't want to speak of. It is my responsibility as a person and human never to void grace just because I deem something intolerable. But I understand and agree with the position of us individually having the final say in what's tolerated. I just can never forget I too am intolerable to someone. I pray to that tolerance. What? Anyway.
I pray that tolerance
Oh,
probably.
yeah. I pray that tolerance changes, is what it says. Main point, even though I agree, I challenge even that thought. So even though I agree with what everybody was saying, we do determine the line. I just have a natural inclination to deliberately try to see it from the other vantage point. But that's it. That wraps up the show because I'm over talking about this. I'm thirsty as hell. We smoke too much. I don't smoke though. I've never smoked a day in my life. Anyway. Yeah, you can.
Lying to
Bunny,
these people.
outro. Deuces, y'all.